Previously, on the dungeon of the Mad Mage,
Good.
Matashtai, who had been struck unconscious while passing through the Rustgate portal, awoke in the small temple of Kelemvor he had grown to know as a home away from home, surrounded by his friends and associates. Fearing whatever had been done to him wasn't quite over, the party pleaded with him to remain stationary while the two priests, Bryce and Godiva, checked on him. However, Matashtai rejected his allies' request and got up to leave the small shrine. Confused, concerned, Ezrah attempted to magically bind Matashtai, but Godiva, not understanding the situation, blocked his spell. Matashtai continued outside and was pursued by Ashes and Bones, with Ezrah and the two priests trailing behind. After trying to talk some sense into him, after trying to talk some sense into the monk and being rebuffed at every turn, Bones decided that something had gone horribly wrong and that it was more important to stop Matashtai while they had the chance.
Put him down.
So he attacked with a drow-poisoned dagger, hoping to paralyze Matashtai. Meanwhile, Ashes attempted to grapple with him, and all of these actions seemed to only serve to send Matashtai into a frenzy, and a running fight broke out. Matashtai attempted to flee using everything within his power, and the party attempted to stop him. The chase took the party to the snowy rooftops, where they were seen by a Waterdeep citizen who began ringing a city watch bell. Already having difficulty with Matashtai and realizing that an altercation with the watch would probably not go over very well, the party decided to stop chasing the monk, if only because Ashes had managed to brand Matashtai and could now track him at will. The party headed back to the Temple of Kelemvor with Bryce and Godiva as Matashtai ran off, and there they explained things to the two priests. Shortly thereafter, the party heard the City Watch performing door-to-door searches. They decided it was best to leave and headed out back, attempting to travel towards Matashtai once more. Unfortunately, they were caught by the guard, identified as the suspects in question, and taken to a nearby watchpost. After several hours of interrogation, they were able to convince the local commander of the importance of their situation and the fact that they hadn't really done anything wrong. And the commander released them, though only after slapping the three of them with a fine for disturbing the peace. From here, the party headed south towards Matashtai's location, finding him in a local tavern, one that Ezrah recognized. Rather than risk any sort of issue being caused by him being recognized within the tavern, Ezrah decided to leave to try to research the situation and come up with a solution. Meanwhile, Ashes and Bones headed inside and began a calmer conversation with Matashtai. Just as it seemed the conversation would end fruitlessly and Matashtai began to leave, Ashes stumbled on a moment of insight. Matashtai was responding contrarily to everything that was said or suggested to him, though Ashes attempted to manipulate him, and was successful in twisting his words enough to convince Matashtai to let someone take a look at him. Ashes, Bones, and Matashtai then headed to the Temple of the Moon in order to see Amnestria, one of the most powerful clerics that they knew. By repeatedly suggesting to Matashtai to do the opposite of what they wanted him to do, the two of them were able to manipulate the monk into meeting with the Priestess of the Moon and agreeing to be healed. And Amnestria did just that, removing from Matashtai his curse of contrariness. Meanwhile, Ezrah had traveled to the Font of Knowledge, intent on figuring out what was wrong with Matashtai and what could be done about it. The sorcerer succeeded in finding a bevy of information about a group of elder runes that seemed to be associated with the magic that had afflicted Matashtai. These were dangerous ancient magics, and they would have to be dealt with wisely. After having healed Matashtai and re-inviting Ashes to visit the temple, Amnestria took her leave. Ashes and Bones decided to venture home to the Lifted Spirits, but Matashtai headed back south to the dock ward, wanting to visit Bryce and Godiva and alleviate any concerns that they might have. He was able to do just that, spending a few hours with them to catch up before heading back home. However, on his way out of the dock ward, he was identified and stopped by the City Watch, and then taken into custody, there being a concern that he may or may not be possessed by a demon. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.